Harry Brook's extraordinary start to his Test career has hit its first speed bump, and it's the rediscovery of a tactic that had all but disappeared from the game that's keeping him quiet. Backtrack to the end of the 2025 English summer, and Brook was keeping pace with the greatest to have played the game. He scored 2,872 runs in 52 innings, a tally bettered by only 7 players in Test history at the same stage of their careers, and had just hit a 91-ball century as England fell 6 runs short of a national record chase. Since then, he's stalled, with no hundreds and an average under 40 in 7 tests. So, what's changed? First, we have to understand what makes Brook special. It's not just that he scores more runs than everyone else, it's the manner in which they're scored. 15 players in the format's history with at least 3,000 runs have averaged more than Brook, but nobody has scored at a quicker strike rate. Among those who average at least 50, Viv Richards is closest, scoring 16 runs fewer per 100 balls, followed by Brian Lara and Matthew Hayden, 10 further adrift. Brook's best innings have been counter-attacking when the bowlers are dominating. Key to this is his ability to hit boundaries off balls other batters would find threatening, often through his aggressive footwork and use of the crease. The recent Oval Test against New Zealand provided a perfect example. Early in Brook's first innings, Will O'Rourke bowled what he might consider the perfect delivery. In the good length zone, on a 4th stump line at 90 miles an hour. The only problem? He was bowling it to Harry Brook, who backed away and carved it over backward point for 6. The expression on O'Rourke's face was one of helplessness. Brook's favourite mode of attack is to dance down the pitch and drive over cover, an outrageously difficult, expansive shot which is quickly becoming his signature. When facing pace, Brook normally comes down the track 10% of the time and has extraordinary success when doing so, averaging 72.3 and striking at 180.8. But if you can stop Brook from coming at you, you cut off his main release shot, and that's what teams have started to do. While Brook has had incredible success coming down the track, it's not a plan without risk. But for Brook, the risk has been worth the reward so far in his career. Because of his talent and his trust in his eye, if he connects, the ball usually flies to the boundary. He doesn't always connect, missing roughly 1 in 6 when he advances, but the risk is worth it because, unless the ball is targeting the stumps, there's no danger. But that equation changes when the keeper is up to the stumps. If Brook misses in that instance, as long as the keeper collects the ball cleanly, he'll be stumped. He's yet to be dismissed this way off a seamer in Test cricket, but only because, when the keeper stands up, he stops coming down, doing so less than 1% of the time when the keeper is up. It also compounds some of his weaknesses. Brook's main conventional strength against pace bowling is rocking onto the back foot when he averages 70. But when he leans onto his front foot, he averages just 33. Bowling fuller with the keeper up to the stumps forces Brook to come forward, which can expose him. Unusually, Brook also excels when there's more pace on the ball, boasting a higher average against balls which are faster than 140 km per hour. By contrast, a medium-fast bowler bowling full, which restricts his option of coming down the track, is exactly what Brook doesn't want. He averages 31 when the keeper is up to the stumps and 51 without. His foul shot percentage rises, and, with his attacking options restricted, his strike rate drops too. And the Oval Test against New Zealand provided another perfect example. With England on the ropes in the chase, Brook counter-attacked and raced to a 33-ball 50. But then the keeper came up to the stumps and Brook got stuck. He scored just 8 runs off his next 21 balls, the last of which he edged. While Tom Blundell couldn't hold on, the ball bounced off his thigh for the catch to be taken at slip. England collapsed not long after and New Zealand levelled the series. 75 mph, keeper up, domming it on a length. We know that doesn't work in Test cricket wherever you are. It's been proven all around the world. Those are the words of Rob Key, England's managing director, explaining the differences between the county and international games, but also dismissing a tactic that would go on to become a challenge to England's brightest talent. But Key wasn't wrong in saying that the tactic had gone out of the game, with 3 factors at play. First, the median bowler has gotten faster. The speed at which even the very best keepers can stand up to the stumps tops out at 85 miles per hour. Keepers also increasingly selected less for their glove work and more for their batting ability. Standing up to the stumps is a challenge to a spinner, let alone a seamer, with reaction time significantly reduced. So the last thing a team wants is for an edge to be found and then shelled. The 2025-26 Ashes served as a counterexample. Mitchell Starc, an out-and-out fast bowler, was Australia's main man, but in the absence of Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood, he received support from Scott Boland and Michael Neser. The pair claimed 35 wickets at an average of 22.8 between them, both operating in the sub-85 mph range. And while Alex Carey enjoyed an exceptional Ashes series with the bat, the impact of his work up to the stumps, as a genuine wicket-taking option with the gloves, was hailed as being potentially transformative. Writing in The Guardian, Brendan Foster claimed that Carey had redefined the craft of keeping with his masterclass in the second Ashes test in Brisbane. And going back to Key's point, the third reason is that, most of the time, the keeper coming up to the stumps doesn't work. Over the last 6 years, all top 7 batters combined average 46 with the keeper up, compared to 32 otherwise. Brook is an outlier, and for most of his test career that has been a good thing. But now, it means a tactic that doesn't work against other players is working against him. How he combats it could define the next stretch of his journey.